Good morning, guys. I'm WUSA Season 2, Episode 222. So this morning I got my information mixed up a little bit. I don't have to take my daughter to the eye appointment today. That would be tomorrow. But I do have to stay home to take care of something for my wife while she takes someone to a different doctor. So that's fine. Either way, it's the same thing. I am heading out to a casino real quick, real early in the morning here. It is 32 degrees, still dark outside, and I am going to go play a quick round of slots, and then I'm going to head back home, take care of that for my wife, and then hopefully go play some poker at the poker club. So that's what's going on right now. Don't expect a huge day today, which, kind of stinks because the week hasn't been great, but at least we're positive for the week. And we can still get our goal for the week, but just have to work a little bit harder. Today I'm probably going to play a 1-3 no limit game, and I have learned a little bit lately. A friend of mine bought me a training package, and I just haven't had a lot of time to listen to it all, but I have looked at the first couple chapters about 10 times just to get that basic information, which talks about entry points, when to get in, when to fold pre-flop, and when to raise. So got that information, and just focusing on making myself a better player. My goal for next year for poker is just going to be to have a positive year. I think right now I am positive for the year, although not by much, maybe $500 or $700. But like I said, just still learning that. So, okay, letting you go for now. I'm going to stop at the first place, and then I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. I went into the spot not expecting much, and I was not disappointed. There was not much. Found one borderline play when I walked in. It was positive EV, in my opinion. Played that through and totally got skunked on that. So I was immediately down about $60. That was at like $1.80 a spin, somewhere in there. And then moved on, looked at some other things. Saw a guy playing a machine that was definitely positive, and checked on him every once in a while as he was playing it, and eventually he hit it. When he got up, I checked everything else on that machine, and I found nothing. So I found another play that was a pretty good play, not great, and I could tell someone passed it up this morning, but I played it. That got me back to even and ahead a little bit. And then I went in the far reaches of the casino looking around, didn't find anything. I came back around and checked this machine last, because usually this machine doesn't yield much because it's already been cleaned out overnight. But in this case, it was actually left in very good position. Someone had just hit the top prize on it and had left it in a good spot. And I played it through and ended up not making much at all. At $4 a spin, I made about $14 on it. So did everything that I could, went back around, took one more pass through before I left just to make sure that I didn't miss anything. And I ended up leaving ahead $17. Now I would have stayed a little bit longer, but I have to get home so my wife can take the kid to the doctor. So I guess it pretty much paid for itself as far as gas to come out, but not really much more. Also, I'm usually at this casino about 3 times a week, and I haven't visited at all this week. And I have free food and things like that, and I couldn't even use that because the food area was not open yet. It was way too early. So I'm not sure if I'll make it back later on tonight or not. But right now it doesn't look very good. Plus $17. And I am going to do a little bit of scheming here when I get home and try to figure out that depending on what time my wife gets home, what's the latest that I could still go out of town and try to make some bigger money. And we'll see what happens. I'll have a plan for staying in town or near town, and then a plan for if she gets back early, maybe going somewhere. I mean, not much to say there, not much that you could do about it. It happens. So only having one casino within hours is not easy, but anyway, letting you go for now. I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. Wow, it was a huge delay here, unexpected delay, and it's already 1 o'clock. I haven't done anything else today. So right now, finally free to go do what I want to do. I'm going to head over to the poker club. It might be too late. Tables might already be full, might be a waiting list. It's just a big pain. So if I get there and there's nowhere to sit down, I am probably going to call the wife and just make it an overnight trip, because got to make money, right? Unfortunately, the poker club is the opposite direction of where I want to go to a casino. So I am going to be going the wrong way for about 45 minutes to get to the poker club, and then I'll have to come back 45 minutes and then another 3 hours to get to a casino, and I'm not really excited about that. Let's see how it goes. Never know. Might be a good day. Let's see what happens here. I am about 15 minutes away from the poker club right now. I'm going to hop in there, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. I played poker today. It was actually pretty fun. I didn't play for very long. Played for, I think, just over an hour and 20 minutes, I think. And I bought in for $200. Actually could have made a little bit more money if I'd bought in for more, but I figured that with the skills I learned, if something went wrong, I could always rebuy instead of buying in for the maximum, which I believe was $300. It's a 1-2 game, not a 1-3 game like I thought it was. So I win a small hand initially, just a few bucks, whatever, $20, $30, and then about 15 minutes into the session, I'm on the button, and I'm dealt ace of spades, jack of clubs, ace jack, offsuit, and it's two to go, and I make it 12. I'm on the button, so I'm in position, and I get 4 callers. The flop comes queen 10 8, queen 10 8. So I need a 9 or a king for a straight. The flop is a rainbow, so there's no flush possible yet. It goes 15, 15, and then 2 folds, and then it comes to me, and I call. No, it went 15, 15, 95. So I have to call 95 or fold. I call the 95, and then the other 2 people folded. So now we're going 3 ways. The turn is the king, and I was like, oh, the exact card that I needed. And it goes check, check, and I go all in for $80, and both of them call. And the river is a queen, so the board is paired. So the first player goes all in. No, he goes 80 out of his 120, so he's pretty much all in. And the last player folds, so he takes his $80 back because there's no side pot. And I show my hand, and I win. And the guy had a queen in his hand, so he had 3 queens. He had ace queen, in fact. And so I end up winning the hand. So that brought me ahead. At that point, I was ahead 407, I believe I counted it. So pretty happy about that. Couldn't exactly leave right then. I had a couple hands where I had double gutters also, and those didn't work out. Lost a little bit of money on those. And then they have it's not a bomb pot. It's like a free. It's a free $100 that they give out. So you get 2 cards and they just run it out, and the winner gets the $100. And I had 2-8, and I said, well, I'm drawing dead right off the bat. There's 8 of us in here, and I have a second worst hand in blackjack, offsuit. I have no chance. And so I have 2-8, and the flop is 9-10-7. Okay, and then the turn is a 6, so now I have a straight, and then the river doesn't hit anybody, and I turn over the straight, and I end up chopping it with another guy, so we each ended up getting $50 on that. That brought me to plus 400 again, and then played a little bit longer and ended up coloring up and leaving finally. Ended the session ahead, $322. So plus 322 in poker. And if you guys have feedback on how I played that hand, let me know. Remember, I only bought in for 200, so when I called that 95, I'm not really afraid of anything at that point. The pot's big enough at that point. I have an overcard, and I have a straight draw. There's no flushes anywhere, so I felt like it was worth the risk for the size of the pot. So anyway, while I was there, this lady sitting next to me, she said, oh, I know you, and Asian lady. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. She's like, yeah, we used to play blackjack together at the casino. I said, oh, yeah. And I started thinking about it. The more I looked at her, the more I remembered. It was like yesterday again. I said, I'm not allowed to go there. She said, oh, I haven't been there in 5 years. I said, I haven't been there for 3 years. And she said, why? I said, I don't know. I said, I won a little bit of money, and they told me I couldn't come back. I don't understand. They're so greedy. I lost money for so many years, and I finally win a little bit, and they don't want me to come back anymore. She said, those bastards, she says. I said, yeah, I hate those guys. They take advantage of people. She said, well, I haven't been there in 5 years, and it's a long story. I said, well, whatever your reasons are, I can understand. She said, well, I'll tell you, I won a lot of money there, and I lost it all back and more, and it just made me sick, so I haven't been there in so long. She said, one day I'll go back, but for now I'm staying away. And I said, that's really good of you to be able to stay away from a casino for 5 years after losing all that money, after winning all that money first, and it got you all excited, and then you lost it all, and you're strong enough to stay away from there. That's pretty good. But for playing 1-2, it was a very aggressive table. She was very aggressive. She probably won 6 of the first 7 hands, and she was not afraid to go for it. So she asked me, she said, well, where do you go? And I told her, I'll go this place sometimes and this place sometimes. And I said, I just like to play, and how we used to gamble together all the time. It was fun. And she said, well, let me know. Maybe we can go sometime. I said, sure, no problem. So, that's that. I doubt that would ever happen, but, it was fun to talk about the old days and what we used to do, the craziness. The funny thing is, my best year in the old days, I actually cleared a profit at that casino. I think it was like a $2,000 profit, which is not bad, either profit or loss of $2,000. I can't remember, but it was a low number like that, which is not bad for a guy who always played high-limit blackjack. I mean, I played $50 high-limit blackjack for 6 or 7 years at that casino before I learned how to count cards and advantage play. So really, I kind of used some of the tools of counting cards. I understood the concept of it, but not fully, and I didn't know how to play hands like Ace-7, even Ace-6 against a 2 and things like that. My eyes have been opened up, and staying on 16s and taking insurance. Used to always take insurance on a 20, because if they don't have it, I'm probably going to win, is the way that they tell you. Only take insurance on a 20 just in case. And now, the other day, I took insurance on, what did I have? I had Ace-2 or Ace-3, something like that, and I had $800 out there, and I took insurance, and I missed. How stupid do I look putting $400 out for insurance on Ace-2 or Ace-3, and then losing the hand as well, and it's a $1,200 downswing. But I did what the count, told me to do. Anyway, so right now I am heading toward the slots casino that I played earlier today, and I'm going to grab my food for the week. I'm going to play a little bit of slots and hopefully have some more good luck here. And earlier I said, well, maybe if there wasn't a poker table available, that I would still go on a trip tonight. And what was I thinking? I've got a meeting tonight at 6:30. I can't go anywhere. So that's definitely off the table, but I've got some time right now. I'm going to go do that. I didn't expect my poker session to be that short, but it's nice that, I made some money and I left. I don't care if people think I hit and run or not. I almost left right after I won that hand 10 minutes into playing. I don't owe those people anything. So anyway, heading down to play some more slots, and I'll be back to update you. So as I'm continuing my drive here, this guy sitting to my left was telling me a story about what happened to him at a casino. So this lady talked about, winning and losing and all that, and we were talking about how greedy casinos are and all that kind of stuff. And he told me a story. He said, I don't know how to count cards or anything. That's how he started it. He said, I know, and he had like a rhyme, 6 to 2 do this, 10s and aces do this, about counting cards, which I've never heard before. But he said, he said he was playing at Mandalay Bay, and he was staying at Flamingo or somewhere like that. I don't know if they're related somehow. I think they are, but anyway. And he was playing a $50 table, and he said he won $14,000 that day. And he had, I guess he ended up with 14. Maybe it wasn't all profit, but he had 14. So he said he gave his friend $6,000 to cash out, and he took $8,000 to cash out, which we all know is, everybody, structuring, right? So you can't split the money up that way to cash out to avoid a CTR, a currency transaction report, but it would stand up in court, because if you were card counting and you wanted to be anonymous, then you could say that's the reason why if you file the CTR. Or what else could you do? You could cash out 6 or 7 or 8,000, come back another day and cash out the rest, and that would be perfectly legal. That's not structuring, because you're trying to stay anonymous, not to avoid the government in any way, and you're not doing anything illegal as far as laundering money. So anyway, he said when his friend went up to cash the chips, they asked him his name. He gave him a fake name. When he went up to cash the 8,000 in chips, they asked him his name. He gave his real name, and then he went back to his hotel. And the next morning he woke up, went down to a $50 double deck table, pitch table, so it's dealt face down. And first hand, he said the lady next to him was like peeling the cards where he could see what she had. He said she had low cards, and there was all low cards that everybody had at the table. And he had bet $50 on the first hand. So second hand, he bet $450, and then within a couple more hands, somebody came over and tapped him on the shoulder, called him by his name, and told him that he can't play blackjack anymore. He couldn't understand why until years later, but he said ever since then he hasn't stayed at that hotel anymore, and he hasn't gone to Mandalay Bay anymore. He said that he talked to his host after that happened, and they said that they like him, they want him to be there, but he can't play blackjack, that he could play everything else, and he wasn't counting cards, but he knew the idea that if you see small cards, a lot of small cards, most likely high cards are coming, and high cards are good for the player, so he raised his bet. His host told him that he had played at Mandalay Bay the day before, and Mandalay Bay put out some kind of a flyer on him with his real name, and that the other casino saw it, and that's why they backed him off. So very interesting that these people who don't count cards, but if you have an inkling of any kind of intelligence at all, they don't want you there. And really, can you say it to players at the table? Can you say, if you guys had any smarts at all, you wouldn't be here, you'd be banned? You can't. That's what the casino is thinking. The casino is like this emperor watching their screens, looking down on the lowly peasants dropping off their money. And if he sees anybody getting out of line, then that person is banished. And that's really what it's like. And the casinos in this current area make about $35 million net per month. And you go in there and win $500 or $700 because you're card counting, and they want to kick you out for life, and they want to arrest you and charge you with trespassing if you ever come back again for life. And that's just so ridiculous. And I never mentioned card counting and stuff like that, but the dealer said something like, well, if you're card counting, they have the right to kick you out. And I said, yeah, God forbid you use any brains. And he said, well, you can't card count. I said, oh, well, then you should kick me out of here. He said, why? I said, because I saw 4 to a straight on the last hand on the board, and I card counted and figured out most likely the other players have a straight, and I folded the kings I just had. Is that card counting? Maybe you should kick me out. And he said, that's different. And I said, why? Because I'd be taking money from other players and not the casino. And that kind of shut him up. But, you know, the point is still there. If you're using your brains and you see Jack, Queen, King, Ace on the board, and you see 3 callers to a bet, most likely, if you have a pair of kings, you're probably not good, you know. So, you know, you might have 1 or 2 or all 3 people ahead of you on the hand. So, I guess I proved my point there. But it was nice to play poker again. It's been months. I think I had 2 months for sure. I was updating my spreadsheet the other day. The last 2 months I had a black square for my profit loss for poker because I didn't play any poker at all. So anyway, I am getting close to this casino, and I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I am back. That was long. So when I first came out to this place, I wasn't expecting to stay for a long time, but there was an event going on, and only a small percentage of people were involved. And of course I was, based on my tier level and all those different things. So they were doing a drawing. Last time I was here, they were doing something similar, and I was thinking, they're never going to call me. And they called me first, and I won, like, I forget what it was, maybe $200 or $300. So I thought, okay, well, I can stretch the time to my meeting and just stay as long as I possibly can. But there was no plays. So when I walked in there, I looked around at everything, and it was actually down a little bit, and eventually got back to even, and then up like $30. But no, nothing good, just pretty flat. And there was a lot of people in there checking things. And in fact, I saw a person I'd never seen before, and I was trying to figure out who he was. So then I was hanging out with a friend of mine, waiting for the drawings and watching him play. And eventually we went through all those, and it was time for me to go because I have this meeting I can't avoid. And actually I was just called, and I'm absolutely required for this meeting at this point, or they can't have the meeting. There's people coming from all over for the meeting. So no pressure. And right now I am, let me see, 29 miles away, and it looks like it's going to take 43 minutes to get there, which would put me about 8 or 9 minutes ahead of schedule. So hopefully traffic is okay and it works out, otherwise they'll have to cancel it. But in waiting around that long, I explored some new machines. I talked to my friend, I watched people play, and I saw some new people I'd never seen before. Toward the end there, I was on my way out. There was 2 minutes left for another drawing, so I stuck around. There was a play. It was kind of an iffy play, probably slightly negative EV, but I played it, and it just destroyed me. I mean, it was $2.25 a spin, and you expect it to pay, it should pay $300. And on the run-up, I was getting absolutely nothing. I was getting 60 cents, 90 cents, and you can't, no matter what jackpot you're going for, if you're getting 0 or less than 10% on the run-up, you're going to lose. I mean, you can't have all zeros, or you can't make money. So I went from being ahead $30 to being down like $210. And now I'm not happy. I'm running out of time, and now I'm down. I was ahead the whole time, wasting time for this stupid drawing, and then now I'm down. I said, well, all right, I'm looking at I already had it in the map like hours ago, just to see, as traffic was changing, how things were looking and how much time I had, so I could spend as much time there as possible. But I saw I still had a little bit of time left, so I walked around, took one more trip around, and the machine I had just checked probably 20 minutes before was in position for $1 a spin. And I played that through, and I ended up winning like 180 something dollars. Not net, but that was what it paid out. So, I'm feeling a little bit better. I will take one more trip around to see one more small play. It pays me like $20 or $30. So I end up leaving at that point because there's just no more time left. It's not the kind of thing I like. I don't know how some people just stick around one place all day. I've tried it. I can't stand it. I would rather walk around from place to place. Places like Vegas obviously are a lot easier, but they're a lot more crowded with people checking machines. But I would rather stay in one place than, I'd rather walk around than stay in one place. Anyway, I ended the session minus $45. So, okay, minus $85. So that was all right, and I'm on my way out, and right now, traffic is horrendous, and I'm looking at my map, and almost the entire map is bright orange, which is very bad. So I'm trying to take all the little shortcuts I can to get ahead of cars and stuff like that. So right now the traffic just got worse. So now it's going to be even later. So hopefully things clear up here. It's actually taking me a whole different road than it normally would to get to my destination, which is very bad, because normally this way is about 10 minutes slower, and if this way is faster, that's not good news at all. So anyway, hopefully I get there in time and everything is okay. Tomorrow is still up in the air. Tomorrow is the actual day I'm supposed to take my daughter to the eye doctor. I have a plan for casinos for tomorrow, and hopefully I can get those in, but I don't know what's going to happen for sure. So I'll leave this episode open because I may come back to the casino and I may have an update for you on what I'm going to do tomorrow. Hopefully something good happens. You never know. Something might pop out of nowhere and it's a good deal. So right now I'm letting you go, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I am back. Got done with my meeting, got back home, and just getting ready for tomorrow. I have a plan for tomorrow, so everything is in order. I do have a few meetings also tomorrow, so I'll be taking care of those. And I was just getting everything all set for tomorrow when I got a call from someone at the last spot I was at telling me about some possible opportunities there. He doesn't know a lot about what we do or how it works. He just knows that he has a feeling and things like that, and he sees things and he thinks he knows what he's talking about, but he really doesn't. So we reviewed 3 different plays that he saw, and I determined that maybe one of them might be a play, but he wasn't even sure that it was even still there. So with all that in mind, for me to drive all that way for a maybe, and even if it was true, it's a mediocre play, does not make sense. So I decided not to do that, just to let all that go, that would not be in my best interest. If anything, going back to the card room would make more sense. But I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to get a good night's sleep and get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow I have that doctor's appointment, I have meetings, and then we'll be on our way, and it's going to be a very long day. And I hate it to be a long day on a Friday because then you run into the crowds. But that's the way it's going to have to be. So we'll do that. So I'm going to let you go for now. Questions or comments, it's mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. I'll see you tomorrow.